hypothetical viewers, and welcome back to Shining Force Gaiden. As promised, since the last episode, I did, in fact, level grind everyone up to 20 and promote them, mostly using our friend the Brass Gunner here, who was getting about 30x when killed by a level 19 character. So, took a while because there are not a ton of Brass Gunners right here at the start of the level. There's two, but eventually we did manage to promote everyone. Luckily, they were all already at 19. It would have been a lot more painful if they weren't. I even managed to promote the mages, although they're not here. Basically, I had to carefully chip them down to 1 HP, and then the mages could get the KO. But fortunately, that wasn't, we only needed to do that like 3 times, since they all had a little bit of exp already. But still, this was a lengthy process, but here we all are. You'll see for this battle, we have all of our melee characters and Mayfair, because let's just take a peek at her stats. Mayfair actually has an attack. I actually bought a couple updated weapons for people too. Not very many. Most people it was like, it's not that big of an increase. We'll wait until we get to where we can buy the promoted weapons. But for Mayfair, upgrading from the Bronze Rod boosted her attack quite a lot, and she now has an attack on par, and in some cases better than our actual melee fighters. So she'll do fine. And also, once we destroy the Fizzle Orb up here, we will be able to use magic, so then we'll finally be able to heal the party, which will be quite useful. We'll have to just tough it out until then. Maybe use some medical herbs. Not that we have many on hand. I haven't stocked them in ages because we have so much healing. But yeah, we even managed to promote new friends Gaiden and Caching, since we were around anyway. Gaiden did promote to Berserker, so my memory of him being a Berserker in Shining Force Sword of Asia, he must have been a pre-promoted unit there. Which I guess it's because, like, he's an experienced warrior because he was in this game first, so now he's a Berserker, whatever, his promoted class. Unfortunately, his attack is still real low. I don't know if it'll eventually get better or not, but he is not very good so far. Still real slow, too. And we have Gates, who's fine, I guess. Some of them level up a bit more, but yeah, we have our whole crew, but let's get it going. I'm not sure if this grass is some kind of difficult terrain, because some of our units seem to move a bit slow on it. Like, he's only able to move 3 spaces. That's normally he moves 5. I think it's this grass for some reason is slowing us down, which is very weird because it's the lawn in front of a castle, so you'd expect it to be like very neatly trimmed, but apparently we're wading through some kind of knee-high grass here. Not sure why you'd build a building like that. It's very weird. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of head towards the middle here and then hook around to the left, right where this Brass Gunner is, and go up that way, because I think going to the left this way would just be, it would take forever. I also have Gaiden using the running ring, because why not? You know, I didn't have anyone in particular that I really wanted it on, and his agility is really low, so this helps him not fall as far behind. We did also get the item in that chest while I was level grinding, because why not? Saves us time now. But yeah, I also finally got around to equipping some of the better weapons that we had found, like we had a critical sword and we had a heat axe and stuff like that, so I slapped on all those. It's all good. But yeah, this battle is, until we actually get indoors, this is going to be a bit slow sauce. And these trees are apparently trees we can't walk over. They're not forest tiles. They're just literally trees that block our movement. Which, again, such a weird choice of design for this map. I am a little baffled by it. But yeah, I actually was happy that I took the trouble to grind everyone up to level 19 in the last battle, because it was just easier to do because there were more enemies closer to the start of the level and there wasn't this rough terrain. And so because of that, it did not take quite as much time to level everyone up via the best Brass Gunners. Because if they were all at level 18, it would have been, oh, it would take it so long, it would have been awful. As it was, we only needed, depending on how much XP they already had, like 3 kills for most of them, which wasn't so bad. Let's check out Gaiden's new sprite. As you can see, he put on some leg armor, but only in the front. And he like twirls around and kicks now, even though his helmet now has spikes on it. He's still not very good though, and he completely missed, but his animation is interesting. The funny thing is the speed of the animations isn't super fast, so it kind of looks like he's levitating there, very slowly doing a flip. But yeah, he's doing like a jump and kick. He's doing like a forward air and smash. That's his forward air. That's what it looks like to me. Or maybe a back air. I guess he's sort of facing away when he finally hits. No, but he's facing forward when he starts, so I guess it'd be a forward air. It just loops in a little. But yeah, and here's Claude, our new bird battler. His armor is a different color basically, and he's got a little more of it. Oh, and his wings are a darker color, oddly. This may be why I remembered him having brown feathers, because in his promoted sprite, they are actually brown, which is fascinating because it's like, why would promoting change the color of its feathers? Again, promotion appears to be a Pokemon evolution. This is our new sniper, using the Buster Shot, which was a weapon we had gotten as a drop from an enemy. It appears to shoot out like bombs or something. But yeah, the sniper, this is Shining Force's like weird side fantasy thing again, because the sniper sprite appears to be carrying like a massive rifle cannon thing, which is amazing. But then we're also fighting mobile tanks, so which don't appear to be rolling based on like people pushing them or anything. They look like they have some sort of engine in the back. So as usual, Shining Force is a fantasy world that also has robots basically, which I do enjoy. Honestly, like I feel like that aspect was slightly less prominent in Shining Force 2. We did eventually like get the Nazca ship and meet a robot and stuff, but it didn't come in as much till the end. Whereas the first Shining Force game, I feel like had weird sci-fantasy elements, and like, you know, when we ran into that laser cannon and stuff that we had to fight and things like that from much earlier on. And I really love that ridiculous like fantasy kitchen sink aspect of Shining Force. It just has this charming feeling of like a child who took out all their toys at once and is telling you a really complicated story about them. And that just delights me. Let's try and have Gaiden do something useful. Well, he only has 40 attack as a thing. It's just really low. It's real weak. I think this is actually a battle where we have to kill every single unit, enemy unit, so I may actually have everyone hang around in the middle here until like these ghouls, etc. catch up with us. This is the Paladin Sprite. Basically, it's like a lot more armored, so they look like an armored knight, basically, which is very cool. You know, it gets style points. And all the enemies are just kind of approaching us, which will save us time later when we don't have to go all the way back to the start of the map. So I'm gonna just wait for them to get here a bit. Gates the Gladiator. He leveled up a little too. No one is actually at level 1 because, you know, as I'm going, I promoted the characters, and then they are then being used to help chip the enemies down so the wizards could hit them, so they gained some levels during that time. Because, oh, whoopsie, I forgot he was holding the halberd, which is not a ranged weapon. But, yeah, so, and once they're at level 1 again, when they promote, they gain experience from everything, so, you know, they level up pretty fast. Cray is at level 9, the evil pixie can no longer level him up. I have to say, the guide that I read which said that Cray becomes the more combat-enabled monk was pretty accurate. He's quite strong. But Sieg did not become the more magical monk. He still hasn't gained more spells. I thought he was going to get at least heal level 4, because it's like, Cray has more attack, he has more spells, but he did not. Which is very puzzling. And a little disappointing. Sorry, Sieg, but I don't think you're necessarily going to be... Honestly, he will not get kicked out yet, though, because Gaiden is cool and all, but he's just too useless. I don't think he can stay in the party. And Kashing and Gates, Kashing is fine, honestly. We trained him up. There's, I suppose, nothing wrong with him. But we already have Apis, you know, and I like my wizards, so I might just swap them in for Gates, Kashing, and Gaiden. And Sig can stay. He was here from the start, you know. I feel like he can stay just because he's like an honorary, you know, friend, because he was one of our first party members. This is Stock the Bow Knight. He also basically is just like more armored and has like a giant cannon that he's attacking with now, which is, it's like as big as he is. It's a cannon crossbow the size of a horse. That's pretty epic. Let's Kashing just attack this gunner here. Yeah, his color scheme as a knight is yellow, whereas Apis, I believe, is red. So although they have the same sprite, they do have their own palette, at least. Yeah, sorry if this is a tad slow, but you know, it would be much longer to have to walk all the way back, so at the end of the level. Wow, why did that ghoul not attack? It just walked up to stock and then was like, I'm done. There's no need to do anything else. The enemies are too lazy. Why did they make the grass a difficult terrain tile? It's absolutely baffling. Yeah, the halberd is stronger, but it's one tile only, so... Oh no, Apis is blue. I thought Apis would be a red color scheme, but actually blue. I think their color schemes actually changed on promotion, because I could have sworn Apis had like red armor before promotion, and Kashing I think had like green. So when being promoted, they were given new tabards and stuff. It's kind of funny that their sprites would change, palettes would change. At least my bird still has full mobility. His attack is very cool too, like this like flying, diving attack, you know, very, very boss. Okay. Making some progress. Very slowly, very slowly. But yeah, this is like, we have this, including this chapter, we have 3 more chapters till the end of chapter 3, which we're in. Or 3 more levels, rather. Missions, I think they're called officially. But yeah, so we're quite close to wrapping up chapter 3, and that'll be 3/4 of the way through the game. So it's not long at all. And then we'll go on to Shining Force Sword of Asia, which I'm very excited for because that was my childhood game, and one reason this is Nick's upgraded hero sprite, by the way. His armor looks, the sprite work isn't as great on his armor, I have to say. Like the shading and stuff isn't amazing, but it's fine. This is not the only case in Shining Force in general where there are some promoted sprites that I think just don't look as good. I think sometimes when because the promoted sprites often increase the level of complexity and detail, and sometimes that makes them look overly busy. But that could just be my personal aesthetic taste, however. I'm not saying they're literally lower in quality, I just don't like them as much. But in Nick's case, I do think the armor spriting on the armored like leg armor just doesn't look that amazing. Like, it doesn't really look like metal, it just looks like some weird gray cloth. Cape is nice, I guess. You know, he gets he's a hero now, he needs a cape. It's funny that his class isn't like Prince or something. But I guess the main character in Shining Force, of all of the Shining Force games I have played, is a swordsman who upgrades to a hero, so I guess that's just like the standard main character thing. I don't know. But yeah, in this specific case where he actually has like a title as part of the story, you'd think that would have some sort of effect, you know? But it does not. Apis is definitely one of our strongest characters. I feel like usually the starting Cavaliers, or I guess in this game the Centaurs, the starting Centaurs tend to turn out pretty well. You know, they're quite good. Man, maybe I should lower my mic pickup. I'm trying to balance the game audio and mic audio. I lack the skills and knowledge to do that particularly well. Okay, we're almost gonna start going up these stairs. Wow, we're like halfway through this episode. This may be a long one. The battles where you have to kill every enemy tend to take longer because, you know, there's always some random enemies at the end that you have to mop up. You didn't end up following. Man, Kashing's getting so many levels. Maybe I should keep him instead of Sig. It doesn't hurt to have an extra Paladin. Sig was one of our first characters though, so you know, there is that. I'll have to consider this deeply. Or, well, probably not particularly deeply, but at least a tiny bit. Okay, attack with our shiny new halberd. It's quite a bit stronger than the power spear. It's a notable upgrade. Has a cool sprite as well. It's funny because a halberd, I'm not an expert on medieval weapons or anything, but my understanding is that a halberd is both a stabbing and a slashing weapon because it has a spear and an axe head at the top, so you can, you know, use it in multiple ways. But in this game, I guess because there's only one melee attack animation for the character, it's just always used to stab. They don't slash with it. Even though it is a full arm. Still killing this deadly born here. Man, Sig, you're not good. You're really not. Like, I genuinely might need to keep Koshing instead. Sig is just... he's just not good. And the thing is, if he was like had amazing spells, maybe he had like he was the one boost or something, he had all the support spells, maybe that would make up for it, but he doesn't. And we also already have a excellent healer in Mayfair who also has more attack than him. And now, to be fair, she's higher level. And she does have an upgraded weapon at this point. Well, sort of, like, she has a good weapon. It's not like, I don't think it's the promoted only weapon or anything. But, still, it really seems like the Vicar should not be out-damaging the monk, you know? Like, she's literally the healer. Yeah, this is why I'm also not sure if we'll end up using Amiga or not, or Amigo. The other secret character, because she also is a healer. So at that point, we might be overloaded on healers. But, you know, we'll have to see kind of what her deal is, because I really can't see myself swapping out Mayfair. I really like Mayfair. You know, I have the nostalgia factor of her being in Shining Force Sword of Asia, where she's basically the role that the dude that I think should have Peppy's voice, who I think is maybe Low from the first game, but that guy, where he's like the guy we see at camp who, you know, is in charge of resin and stuff, that's what Mayfair does in Shining Force Sword of Asia. She is our, like, our guide and stuff. So, you know, I have the nostalgia from that game. Plus, I love magic users, and she has really useful spells. So she's definitely staying in the party. I'm not sure whether she ever gets above Blast 2. She hasn't yet, but maybe it's like the high level spell, I don't know. It's in... I don't remember how that went in Shining Force 1. But in Shining Force 2, the healers ultimately got Blast 4. So, you know, they were actually pretty capable of doing some damage. Moving up the side here, some of our characters have fallen behind a bit because of the rough terrain. That does tend to be an issue with our higher mobility characters getting ahead, but whatever. You know, I'm not really worried about them falling behind on level or whatever. We honestly could have done this even with the wizards just tagging along and doing nothing. The mission is not super difficult or anything. We are playing on easy mode, to be fair. This is just a nice casual playthrough. Apis is getting so overleveled. This is the problem, when you have one character who's really good and they also have high movement speed, they tend to just get out in front of everyone and just keep getting all the X. Level 8, but whatever, you know, I feel like it'll probably all even out. You can always level grind if it becomes an issue. The ability to egress and redo battles all the time really does make it, you know, you can kind of just relax about keeping everyone even in level, because as long as you don't let someone get so far behind that they literally can't even defeat a single enemy, you can always, if you have the patience, go back and even things up. That's very forgiving. Poor Gaiden. I don't think there's any way for him to become good unless every single level gives him massive gains in attack and some agility. He's just weak and slow. And it's weird because look at him, he seems like he should have high attack. He's like a giant bear dude wearing massive armor and attacking people by like body slamming them. He seems like he should be really strong, but he's not. It's genuinely disappointing. I'm also still puzzled that his battle sprite has brown fur, but his portrait has blue fur. Was it just a problem with the color palette? Like, the brown was needed for some other color in the sprite, and there weren't enough colors to make his fur blue? I don't understand this. But then why not just make his portrait also brown? Why? Brown is a normal color for a bear, whereas blue is not really a typical color for animals. So I don't even... What was the motivation behind these choices? I like how the fizzle ball gets a turn, even though as far as I know, it can't do anything. It just exists. Gaiden, I'm trying so hard to make you useful, and you just keep failing over and over. It's so strange. The Deadlyborn are like the only enemies we've seen that routinely use items. I'm sure. Are they like the more intelligent undead or something? Like the ghouls are more mindless? But one of the ghouls talked before it was the boss of a level. I really don't know. Almost like, why would a medical herb heal a skeleton? They're not alive. Because like the medical herb isn't magic, right? It's just some sort of herb that, I mean, I guess maybe it's a magic herb, I don't know. But it seems like something that shouldn't work on non-living things. Yet it does. For a reason. I wonder if Avis can one-shot this fool by now. He might be able to. Indeed he can. Avis, you're an excellent character. Our force has come so far. When you think back to, you know, when we crash landed on Cyprus and had no weapons, and I messed up getting the weapons because I didn't understand how to do it correctly. So we had to just punch goblins to death with our bare hands, and how painful that battle was. And look at us now. Like a fully promoted, outfitted with excellent weapons, just the proper shining force. Currently trying to make Gaiden be even a tiny bit useful. It's a struggle, to be sure. You know, it's not going great, but come on, Gaiden, reward my patience. I don't know, let's have Gates attack this guy, whatever. Gladiator animations are also kind of neat. It's like a leaping smash attack with the axe. That's cool. Attack him from the other side. There we go, Gaiden. Maybe he'll get a level. Yay! Oh, attack increased by 2, defense by 3, and quickness. So maybe he is a character who he's weak, but when you promote him, he gets a lot of stats right away. Because that was quite a good level up. Plus 3 defense? That's a lot. And he got stats in he got points in every stat, so... And maybe I'll keep him in and just see what we can make of him. Because maybe he is just like one of the character that is just a late bloomer, so you have to have the patience to train him up. And if nothing else, I do have patience to level grind. I may not have a lot of skills at games, but I have a lot of determination. It's funny, again, the map sprite of the Fizzle has an orange glowy orb, the battle sprite has a purple glowy orb. I don't really understand the reasoning behind the color discrepancies, whether it was like a technical limitation of some sort, like different color palettes were being used for these two purposes, and it wasn't possible to have the same colors, or like, did different people work on them, and they just didn't check their work with each other? I just don't understand how this would happen. Maybe Gaiden could get some more eggs. He should be able to hurt a stationary ball, or not. Apparently, it's very tanky. Little orb. Why does it have its own turn? It does not do anything. I mean, that actually probably is a engine limitation where, like, my guess would be that because of the way the game engine works, in order for something to be something on the map that you can attack, it has to be coded in as an enemy. Let's try and help Gaiden out a little. We'll take patience, but whatever. Yeah, like they didn't have a mechanism for like destroyable objects, so they had to make it an enemy that just doesn't have an attack in order to make it a thing you could interact with. That would be my guess. Very nice. I think that wraps up the level. Yeah, because that was the last enemy. Everything else came to us. No one has ever survived my fizzle balls before. I mean, I just want to point out here, the fizzle ball did not attack or harm us in any way. All it did was block magic, so literally everyone can survive the fizzle ball. What they did not survive was your army murdering them. So, this is sort of a weird way to put it. And your army wasn't that strong. No matter, I will kill you with my bare hands. Dantom, lend me your soldiers. Oh, and according to the guide I'm using, Dantom, this tiger dude here, he's also his class is beast, just like Gaian's was, so they have the same character class. I guess he's not promoted to Berserker yet. Frabell, you disgust me. If Woldol could see you now. I'm gonna guess from that he did, yeah. I see everything, Frabell, and I am quite disappointed. Let me explain, sir. Return to the palace, Frabell, now. He used the boom tube. They have to return to Apocalypse. That's all I can think of when I see that now. Dantom the honor and Prince Nick's head are yours. You may claim them when ready. Prince Nick, I await you in Gundoll Fort. I warn you, don't keep me waiting. That's not actually that intimidating since you're like, I'm just gonna leave now. Get here when you get here. It's like... Okay, so that was not bad actually. Yeah, that was the whole battle. Let's switch up our party first, yeah. I almost forgot. I want to bring my wizards back in. My newly promoted Wendy is no longer Mage Wendy, she is Wendy the Wizard. I like the alliteration aspect. Let's just dig through. We're gonna drop Gates, because he's not like amazing or anything. For Yisha, need to drop 3 people. You know, I think I'm gonna keep Gaian because I'm like, maybe he can actually become really good. Who knows? I'm gonna drop Caching instead. Sorry, buddy. You're fine, honestly, but I also didn't have any special attachment to you. And instead I'll drop Sieg. I'm sorry, Sieg. You were one of our first party members, but you are extremely useless. Yeah, and then we'll just, yeah, let's watch the opening cutscene of the battle next time. So we'll stop here, ready to exit the camp and enter Gundoll Fort. So thank you for watching, hypothetical viewers. I hope you enjoyed seeing everyone's upgraded sprites now that they've all promoted, and seeing us blast through that battle with really no particular difficulty because Frabell did not come up with a particularly good plan to defeat us. And next time we'll be fighting, I already forgot his name, the tiger dude, Dantom or something like that, I think, something with a D. We'll be fighting him inside Gundoll Fort to rescue the surviving members of the original Shining Force who were defeated, and that's why we're here. So look forward to that on the next episode of Shining Force Gaiden.